What's up, everybody? My name is Lee. Some of you guys might know me as Intuition, and you're tuned into Kinda Neat. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Very exciting episode today with new friend of the show, Kali Uchis. I think that's how I say her name. I'm not sure yet because she has not arrived, and I'm recording this before the conversation, so I'm going to ask her how to properly pronounce her name, but I believe it's Kali Uchis. The day that I'm recording this is the day that the album came out, and that's on iTunes now, so if you guys are feeling charitable, go ahead to iTunes and search for Intuition and Equilibrium, and you guys can download that. It's been a crazy whirlwind. This month has just been so wild because a lot of the month has just been spent putting the record out, and we did it by ourselves with a very small team and a very small group of brain trust. Shout out to Ben Shim for helping a lot. Shout out to Kyle Gray, Avocado, for helping a lot. Shout out to Mark and his girl Jamie for helping a lot. And yeah, we fucking did it, man. We wrapped up all the packages and sent them to everybody, and got some t-shirts made and some stickers made and some CDs made and all kinds of shit. And my apartment has just kind of been a warehouse for the last 3 weeks to a month, and it's just been crazy, and it's been so exciting, and I'm so grateful. And if you tuned in last week to the episode with Mark with Equilibrium, we recorded it 2 weeks before we actually had a show, and so we were like, oh yeah, the show went great. But like now is a couple of days after the record release party, and fuck, it was so crazy and it was so much fun, and you guys really came out in droves, and people were hitting me up with videos and pictures, and I'm like, yo, can you just like fucking text me this video so I can post it on my Instagram? I'm giving people my number that I don't even know, and I'm like, and then they're texting me like, yo, I'm like, yo, texting like, I love seeing you at every fucking show. It's so tight that you're there at all of them, and they're like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. I see so many familiar faces. Like I feel like I know other people that listen to you now, and I'm like, yeah. It's tight. It's like always similar faces. I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm just happy. Like the album is done and it's doing good. And as we speak right now, it's in the top 20 on iTunes Hip Hop, which is so crazy. It always feels bittersweet when you put an album out into the world, because it's like your baby. It's like sending your baby off to school or something, and now it's done. And I think that Mark and I are both feeling so inspired, and I know that we're gonna we're going to try to do the next one a little faster. We always say that, but this time we're going to try to do it a little faster and get another one out there to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. It's just been crazy. And with that being said, without further ado, we are going to get into this conversation with Kali Uchis. How many times have you been out here?
This is probably like my 7th time.
7th already?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not really keeping track though.
Yeah, what were the other times for? Always for shows?
My first time, it was to shoot a music video for someone. And then while I was out here shooting the music video for someone, I shot my What They Say video. And then... Oh,
you shot the What They Say video in LA? Mm-hmm. Oh, no shit. Fan moment. I love that. I love that video. That's the one that like put me on to your shit. No, I didn't know that. I thought it was Florida for some reason.
No, some of it was in downtown, and then some of it was in Venice.
Nice. Oh, actually, yeah. Now that you mentioned that, okay.
Yeah, and then all the other times is for like I'll come out for a show, and then I'll just get as much time here as I can, so I can just go in the studio with people. Also, I went in the studio with Snoop last time, and then I went in the studio with Tyler last time.
That's tight. How was it working with Uncle Snoop?
Really humbling. He's so down to earth, and
just the coolest guy, right?
Yeah, he's really, really, really.
I talk like I know him, but I don't. But I met him once. I was at his apartment once, and I smoked a blunt with him and Andy Villadakis, and that was like one of the greatest days of my life for sure. Because I grew up on Snoop, like that's my generation. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So, anyways, yeah. So, who'd you get in the studio this time with? Anybody?
So far, I mean, I'm gonna get back in the studio with Tyler, but that's mostly who I'm working with right now.
That's dope. How did you guys meet?
Just through, I think Taco showed him my music, and then he was just into it, so he reached out to me through Twitter, and then...
Nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been making music?
A little over a year now.
That's it?
Yeah.
And you were shooting music videos for other people before that?
Yeah, but I mean, not professionally or anything, just more kind of like in my own city. And then the first time it was like on a more professional scale. Interscope gave me a budget to like do a video for someone, but that one never came out though.
Yeah. How did they find out about you? Just through other music videos?
Probably through my manager.
Yeah. That's amazing. How did you learn how to shoot and edit videos?
Actually, I taught myself growing up. And then in high school, I took my video editing class very, very seriously. It was like the only class that that class, photography and art class, was like the only classes that I actually went to. Like, I would skip all my other classes just to be in those classes.
That's tight.
It meant a lot to me.
That's so interesting. This younger generation, like, you guys are growing up with all these, like you can make a music video with an app now on your iPhone, and you feel me? And it like looks good. That's a good benefit of being younger than me.
Well, it's more than just an app, though. Like, to have a visionary direction and be creative and really like see the whole thing in your mind, be able to write a treatment and do the entire thing yourself is like it's a lot of work. Like,
do you draw and storyboard and stuff?
Yeah,
that's tight. I just picture you as like doing fashion design too. Do you like draw fashion-y stuff? Because you got a mad style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't draw fashion stuff actually.
Okay.
I mean, I love fashion. I love style, but when I'm making art, I'm mostly focusing on like not really fashion elements ever.
Yeah. So where are you from?
I live in Virginia.
You live in Virginia. That's right. I don't know why I was thinking Florida. You live in Virginia Beach?
No, I live in Alexandria, Virginia. It's like 5 minutes away from D.C.
Oh, okay. So you're like in that whole metropolitan area.
Mm-hmm. I've been living there since I was 7.
Where'd you live before that? Where were you born?
Colombia.
In Colombia.
South America.
No, I'm familiar.
Because whenever I say I'm from Colombia, people are like, South Carolina? I'm like, nah.
Well, I mean, I think the accent that you put on it made it very apparent that it was South America. Yeah, I used to go out with a Colombian girl. You got very feisty. Did your blood boil?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? That's good. So you were born in Colombia. How long did you stay there?
Till I was 7.
And what were your folks doing out there?
My dad, he's a landlord and a business owner. He's an entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
My mother, she's a teacher. Well, now she's a secretary, but back then she was a teacher.
Yeah. Like elementary school or what?
Yeah, little kids. More like a nanny than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you remember? Like, do you have good memories of Colombia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What was it like?
Really warm. When it rains, the rain all comes down all at once, and then it stops abruptly.
Yeah.
And
that's an interesting memory.
That's mostly what I remember. I remember being in school and like running out of class because I was always getting bullied.
Why were you getting bullied?
Because I was the one white girl with blonde hair.
Oh, so your blonde hair is natural.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I'm not sure.
Mom's blonde, dad blonde, no?
No, my mom's a brunette. My dad has black hair.
Yeah. So you just got like a rogue blonde gene. That's so interesting. So kids would pick on you because you were a fucking white girl.
Yeah, nobody else in my family looks like me, and nobody else in my neighborhood looked like me, so
yeah,
I would just get bullied a lot.
So what made your folks want to move to Alexandria?
I don't really know. I know my dad joined the military in Virginia. Yeah, so it was
Army?
Yeah, it was like in Fort Lauderdale. He used to teach math in the Army.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And then, so it was out there.
So did he have dual citizenship or something?
Yeah, well, it's actually a complicated story.
We got an hour, so if you want to tell it, you can. If you think it's boring, it's whack, and then you don't have to.
It's not boring. It's actually hella interesting, but it's just too much government information.
Oh yeah, so it borders on the ambiguously legal, perhaps. Yeah.
You're gonna ask me if I have paperwork and shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, let me see your green card though. So you guys moved back to the States, or you guys moved to the States, and your dad joins the military to teach math, and you're in Alexandria. And now, do you speak English when you move here?
Yeah, I spoke some English. But I had to be in ESL, and they tried to put me back a grade. I think I was in like 2nd grade, but I did well enough that they let me pass.
I remember having like ESL kids in school, and like I feel like they get picked on too.
ESL kids all the time.
Yeah, so you move from Colombia where you're getting picked on, and then you get picked on when you get to America.
Yeah, it's like everyone always looks at the ESL kids like they're a joke, like, you guys are fubs.
Yeah, well, you know, the funny thing is that, like, we had a lot of Spanish ESL kids in my elementary school, and, like, I always was like, yo, those kids are tight, because I'll bet you, like, they're talking mad shit and nobody knows what they're saying. You know what I mean? I was like, they always just seem very badass to me. But anyway, how did you make friends?
I didn't have a lot of friends in school.
Really?
Until like high school. I started making friends in high school. I remember the first friend I made in elementary school. I don't know how I remember this, but I remember it was like, I think it was like 2nd or 3rd grade. There was like, I was like hella particular with who I talked to. I was like really bougie. Yeah. And then I seen this one
young snob.
I was looking around. I seen this one girl and she just stood out to me. I don't remember why, but I just remember she stood out to me so hard. And I was just like, that's the girl. That girl's going to be my friend. Like, that's the one. And I went up to her and I was like, do you want to be my best friend? She was like, yeah, sure. And literally ever since then, we've been friends. We're still friends to this day.
Really?
That was in 2nd or 3rd grade, yeah.
You guys still live by each other and such?
Well, now she actually is a child. She moved to Ohio. Yeah. But we still keep in touch all the time. She's actually coming back into town for her birthday. She's going to stay at my house. Like,
that's
all
awesome.
That.
Nice. What was it about her that drew you to her? You don't know?
I have no idea. I still don't know what it was, but I just, like, knew it when I looked at her.
So did you guys grow to be very similar people? Like, did you...
Nah, we're hella different.
Really?
But, yeah, that's been my best friend since I was a little kid, but we're hella different.
That's dope. And so she was your only friend throughout elementary school?
Life.
Throughout life.
Throughout life, that was the one.
Yeah, yeah.
I chose her and I kept her.
Nice. With your style, like, it's kind of like flamboyant and a little different. Like, it's very defined is what I'm getting at. And I wonder, as you were a child, if there were like outfits that foreshadowed that. Like, did you always have a very defined style, or is it something that you've grown into?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, that's part of why I used to like get made fun of in school, because I would dress really crazy. Like, yeah. I remember I used to wear like moon boots. Like, I used to wear like socks that had like rainbow, like knee-high one. And people used to always make fun of me, but then they would start doing it like a couple months later, and then I'd just be like, okay, when I was doing that, all y'all were making fun of me. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
who were some of your style icons as you were a kid? Because I'll bet you the first one everybody always says Gwen Stefani.
Oh yeah, people say, and now people always say that about me.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't even know. Like, I would just pick up things that I thought were like I was like really into just like I thought it was really creepy to think that everyone, because there's only one shopping mall in my area. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was weird that people would come to school and like be wearing the same thing. And I remember one day, this was the day I was just like, okay, never again. I think I was in like 5th grade, and I remember coming to school and a girl wore the same shirt as me to school.
Oh shit.
And I was just like so heated, like, how could she wear the same shirt as me? Like, yeah. I'm supposed to be my own person. Like, I can't let this happen. Right. Ever since then I was just like, nah, like, I'm never gonna wear something to school that I think another bitch could wear. Like, never. So
where did you start shopping then so that you wouldn't see them all?
I started like making my own shirts. Yeah. Like, oh my god, it was terrible. I would write like in marker on my shirts. Yeah. I remember I've had like one shirt, it said like, I am my own person. I have a picture.
Shut I have a picture of me. In Sharpie marker?
Yeah.
Or like just a regular t-shirt? That's very creative.
What else did I do? And then I would take like patches from stores and I would like iron them onto my shirts. Yeah. And then I would just like, but I was terrible at sewing and I didn't have a sewing machine. I was the worst at it. But I remember spending all night like getting my outfits ready for school for the next day and just like sewing like random shit onto my clothes that I knew like, no, it's
it just looked like Edward Scissorhands did it or some shit.
It looked crazy.
That's funny.
But people actually started, once it was like, I think it was like in 9th grade. Yeah. People started being like, yo, your clothes are dope. Like, you should make me some, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I started selling clothes when I was in like 11th grade.
What were you selling?
Like, I would take thrift store clothes and shit, and I would like modify them and add different shit to them, cut them up, do whatever. Yeah. And I would just push them. Like, I started taking pictures of my girls in them, and people started really fucking with it. Like,
and what do you push them on, Tumblr or something?
Tumblr, Facebook, whatever. People started like blogging about it. People were like, "Whoa, like, what is this?" Da 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 da.
Really?
Yeah, because I would make like weird like collages out of the photos of the girls in them. Like, I would like, the advertisement was all like trippy, so people would just start like, people started reaching out and they would just pay like hella bread for one piece.
No shit. Mm-hmm. Like, what's hella bread when you're in high school?
Like, okay, well, to me, all right, let's say I got a shirt and I spent like 50 cents on it at the thrift store. Yeah. And then I probably spent like 10 minutes doing some shit to it. Yeah. And then I'll push it for like $50 because it's like hella.
That's a pretty good flip.
It's like hella unique. You know what I'm saying? And then they pay for the shipping and all that shit. I started shipping to like crazy places. Like, I remember I shipped a sweater to this one girl in Germany. She was like so sized, and like just people started reaching out from like all over the world.
Wow. And it was just because of like social media presence.
Yeah, completely because of the internet.
That's tight. What was the first social media that you were on? Were you
Zanga?
Okay, so you predated MySpace. You had a MySpace page and all that shit.
I had a Zanga. I had a MySpace. Yeah. And I swore I was never gonna get a Facebook, and then I got a Facebook.
Yeah, that was a big transition when Facebook came out. I was like, I was very loyal to MySpace. I'm like,
I was like,
this Facebook shit ain't gonna catch on.
Right, exactly. And then
yeah. So where did you start getting this like trippy visual vibe from? Like, what were you watching and what was influencing you?
I don't know. I mean, nothing in particular.
Yeah. So you're in high school and you're pushing clothes and stuff. That's around sophomore year or what?
Yeah, I was in 11th grade, I think.
And so when do you start filming things? Is that the next year or that around that time?
Well, I had been since I was little. Yeah. I had a camcorder. And I would always make videos for my friends and like little movies and shit. Like,
was it when you had to like plug into a VCR?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I would use those. Those were fun as shit because you could like, I don't know if you ever use those, but you can like stop it and then like you could like be there and then you could just stop record and then you could move out of the film and then you could press play or you could like rewind over shit and like
right.
You could basically like edit it however you wanted it on the thing. So I used to always play with that since I was little. And then
is there mad footage of you as a little kid doing shit like that?
Yes, I have so many tapes of me just like making a bunch of little movies.
You're
and
like
shit.
You're the perfect like VH1 behind the music candidate.
Yeah. I have way too many videos of myself as a little kid.
Right.
But then I really started taking the shit like OD seriously when I got to high school because my high school had a really good program for video editing and my teacher really believed in me because I don't know, she thought I was like the dopest student, so she would literally let me skip all my classes just to like be in, because I'm like the type of person like once I start something I need to finish it, like I can't walk away from it.
That's a really good trait to have as a musician.
I would be doing all my projects and just like not be able to leave the room. So she would just let me stay and I would sit through all the classes and just be on the computer editing, and I became so obsessed with it to the point where I just taught myself pretty much everything there was to know.
And what programs were you using? Like Final Cut?
Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Express.
Oh, sick. I just downloaded Final Cut Pro or Final Cut Express the other day, and my friend like yelled at me and he was like, "Delete that shit and get fucking Final Cut Pro."
Yeah, Pro.
Express is like a joke, I guess. Like, what were your first video projects that you were doing while you were in high school? Did you jump straight into music videos, or were you doing like experimental shit? Yeah,
music videos are my passion.
Yeah,
because they're short, they're sweet, and you can like really get some shit across within like 4 minutes.
Yeah, pack a lot of ideas into a small movie.
Yeah, and music is so inspiring. Every time I hear music, I just see so many visuals. It's just like, I mean, I tried to make a film when I was in like 10th grade.
Like a short film?
Yeah, because I used to like write scripts and stuff. I wrote like an entire script for this one movie and I started filming it with my friends, but it just got way too complicated, obviously. But
so what music groups were you making videos for? Like just local bands and shit?
Not even bands. My area doesn't have any bands. It has all rappers.
Yeah.
So I would literally just like, it wasn't even that serious. Someone would like pay me like $300, $400 to just come over and make a video.
Yeah, we got a car and a chick, like come film a video type shit or what?
I mean, I would make a treatment and then they would usually approve it, and then, but since there's like no real budget, it's like you can only go so crazy with the treatment.
Right. Did you ever end up making anything or like music videos for anyone from the area that was like went on to be notable?
No. I didn't.
So then when does it get to the point where you're like, wait, I want to make music too?
Well, I had been making music since I was a little also, like along with like video stuff. I used to have like, I had my camcorder and then I had my little, what are they called? Like the cassettes where you can like, so I had the little cassette and I used to like record my songs on there so that I would remember them. And I played piano and I played saxophone.
Did you have to take lessons?
Yeah, I did. I did take piano lessons when I was younger and I played saxophone. I was first chair in school since I was in 4th grade till I was in like 9th grade.
Can you still play sax?
Yeah.
That's a tight instrument to be able to play.
Yeah. So I was first chair. I took it really serious. I was in jazz band. I was in all-state band. We went to finals.
Yeah.
All that. Like, I was like real serious about it.
So you're like official. You could read and everything.
I can't read music anymore. Like, I don't.
But you could at the time, yeah?
I could at the time,
okay,
yeah. I could read music.
Yeah.
So I was always making songs and stuff. And then same thing, like in high school, that's when I started taking it more seriously.
Did people know that you sung? Or that you sang, whatever?
I mean, if you were my close friend, you knew. But
it was kind of a like hiding in the shower doing it type thing or what?
It was more like like literally if you were my close friend, you knew, because I used to sing my songs for my friends, and they would really appreciate it, and they would always tell me like, yo, you should put some music out, like you should really actually, you know, do something with this. And I would just be like, no, you know, whatever.
Do you still have those old like cassette tapes?
I don't know what happened to those.
That could be a cool art project if you ever found those. You know what I mean? Something to salvage from that. At that point, did you start going, like when your friends are telling you like, oh, hey, you know, you have something, like did you start trying to figure out like, you know, Cool Edit or Fruity Loops or something, like to try and like record stuff onto a computer?
I got a laptop.
Yeah.
A MacBook.
Right.
And I had GarageBand.
GarageBand, of course.
And that was when I made my first mixtape.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was last August.
Last August. And people are fucking taking so much notice of you already.
Yeah.
Killing it. When you made a mixtape last August, like what was your plan with it? Like did you have an end goal?
Okay, really? At the time when I first started making the mixtape, it was songs already that I had already like started writing, and that I was already sampling old music and whatever. So at the time, people were like blowing up a lot off of music videos. Like a music video would go viral.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone would just get a deal, and they would just like be a millionaire overnight. And I was like, well, that's how I looked at it.
I was gonna say like your story. I interviewed Krayshawn like right after she blew up, I guess. Like it's like the week after Gucci came out as a music video, and at that time I feel like they were handing out deals to like anybody who went viral.
At the moment,
at that moment, you know what I'm saying? So that, like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's on point.
Yeah, now they realize that like that's not really the move,
right?
But so at the time that was what was happening, and I was seeing how like the music was actually like very vapid, and it wasn't really like, you know, like it wasn't real, like there was no soul in any of the music that was coming out.
A lot of stuff was of the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So seeing what was happening with the music industry and seeing how everything was just like real, like I felt like it was like real tasteless and just more entertainment than it was actual music.
Yeah.
And I felt like music needed soul, and I felt like people needed soul. People needed to feel like what they felt when they hear oldies, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I felt like I could bring something. I felt like I could really bring something.
Well, and that's the first thing that drew me to your music was that old sound, of course. You guys have the Art LeBeau show out there? Do you know Art LeBeau?
No.
Next time that you're here on a Sunday, put on 92.3 and listen to the Art LeBeau show, because like you'll hear the generations before you that do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like that old soul fucking classic sound that you have, like that's what he plays. And out here, like the Latino community goes fucking bananas for it, like the lowrider clubs and shit. Like that's their shit, you know? Yeah. And so when I first heard your music, I was kind of like, oh, like I totally understand why like young, like out here, like, you know, like young rave culture kids and fucking hip hop kids, they instantly bond with it. But then I was like, I showed it to like my homies that are my age that are like fucking gangbangers and shit. And they're like, oh shit, like I fuck with this, because to them it sounds like lowrider music. You know what I'm saying? Like it does have that old soul quality. Did you grow up listening to that kind of music?
I did listen to a lot of oldies.
Yeah, like what?
Particularly a lot of old Colombian music. Like I don't know if you noticed, I did a cover of.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could shout it out to the audience, because I don't know the name of it.
I listen to a lot of Claudia de Colombia.
Okay.
She's really dope. Beto Villano, he's really dope. Curtis Mayfield. Just a lot of different shit.
Yeah. That's what your folks were into, or what?
Yeah, particularly my aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with them as a little kid.
Yeah.
That's like where my heart was. So yeah, just seeing like the way that music went within like since like the early 2000s, I felt like music lost a lot of what made people feel things, and it more turned into something to where people were more just trying to take their mind off of things and just be entertained and just be like having a good time turning up or whatever. No, like obviously like there's a time and place for that type of music, but I felt like it became so popular to the point where people weren't really appreciating soulful music anymore. Where was it even? Like where is it? Like who's making soulful music, or like music that makes you really feel something that is like hot right now? I can't really think of anyone.
Right. Nah, I fuck with that, and I fuck with the fact that you're trying to do something that is a little more timeless. Like that's a great attitude to have, particularly as a younger artist, because I feel like so many people are so busy chasing cool, they forget to fucking, like you said, put a little soul into it. You feel me? So how did you learn how to sample and make beats? Just obsessing?
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, and like I told you, like when I start doing something I can't finish, so I can't walk away from it. So I just started working on it.
Do you have like OCD tendencies outside of creative projects?
I used to have like a lot of weird rituals. Not like really weird, but like I would do certain weird stuff, but I like broke all of them just because I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. Nah, I catch myself doing OCD shit, but not like rituals or counting, just like very like obsessive cleanliness. But not like washing my hands all the time. But yeah, I feel like, there's a lot of creative types that go through that kind of shit. Because otherwise, how are you going to finish things?
Right.
Yeah. When you start making beats, like, where did you start digging, or did you already have sounds in mind that you were looking for, or was it like download a folder full of soul music? And
I just knew, obviously, like the type of music, like my voice. I can try to sing over other instrumentals. I can try to do other stuff. I have tried to experiment with other stuff, but it's just like
pop music and shit, or what do you
not
mean?
necessarily pop music, but just like other instrumentals that people have sent me that I thought they were dope, and I'll try it. But it's just like I'm not really feeling it all the way unless it's like on some really organic shit that just sounds like completely natural, and it just comes together with my voice better when it's like some oldie shit, typically oldie shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I need some real shit, some shit that like was really played with instruments, some classic shit. And obviously I don't have a band, and I don't have instruments available to me for me to do all that by myself right now, so I'm gonna just go ahead and loop.
Is that something you foresee in the future?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you want to skew towards live instrumentation in the future?
Bands and
yeah,
people who can make instrumentals that are like
that sound live,
have live instruments with them.
Yeah. Are you working on anything like that right now?
I started working with this producer, Chris Braid. He did like a lot of the soundtrack of Great Gatsby, and he did a lot of Lana Del Rey's Born to Die, and he's worked with like really mainstream people too, like Beyonce, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. But so he's pretty notable. He's really, really sweet, and he plays instruments. He plays a lot of instruments and stuff to make his instrumentals. That's probably the only producer I worked with him, and then I've worked with Tyler. That's the only like producers that I worked hands-on with. Yeah. So,
but it's one of those things where you're probably going to be making music that will sound great replayed in a live format. Like when you start playing shows, I would imagine that like it'll sound great with live drums and bass and guitar player.
To have an actual band with me.
Yeah, I feel you. So, how long is it after you release the mixtape until like people start hitting you up like, whoa, like, and management now, and I'm sure like there are labels that are probably salivating over you, et cetera, et cetera. How long does that all take?
It happened almost immediately. And then, but it was real subtle at first. And then probably like 4 or 5 months later, it started to like really pick up, because I didn't, I did the whole thing by myself. I did the mixtape by myself, and I gave it no push. I literally sent one tweet and just, here's my mixtape, and I just tweeted one thing, like, and I had just got a Twitter for the sake of music. I didn't have a Twitter before I decided to do music, so I had like no followers. I probably had like 65 followers when I tweeted the link.
So like, who found it? Like, who heard it with 65 followers? That's so crazy.
People just started the same way Tyler found out about it, because Taco told him, because his friend told him, because someone's friend told him. So it's like a strong word of mouth. Like complete organic growth, complete like just people just like, oh, I think you fuck with this, and just showing people shit like, oh look, this is. When you had
the mixtape, did you already have a music video?
I had no music videos.
Oh, so those came after.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. I filmed my first music video. It was called Multi. It's a song that's not on my tape. It's on SoundCloud, but I took the video down. But that was my first music video. I filmed it in Colombia. That started getting a lot of hits, to the point where that was what got the attention of like A$AP Rocky. And then after A$AP Rocky after certain people started like catching on, then like Snoop caught on, and then Snoop posted me on his thing, and then Diplo caught on, and then so it was just like people in the industry started catching on when other people in the industry started catching on. And then it's like suddenly it's like everyone in the industry knows about me, but not necessarily everyone on the street knows about me yet. So then it becomes a liability, to the point where it's like, it's like I'm known, but I'm not known. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I'm not really.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but
no, I completely understand that, because the first time I heard your name, it was people like going like, "Oh, this fucking girl's super tight," and I'm like, a lot of times my first reaction is to like look at metrics, and I'm like, how could she be this dope if she only has this many followers or whatever? You know what I mean? Like I was like, it didn't make sense to me. And then first time I heard your music and it like clicked for me was at one of the ham parties. I was, like I said, I was bartending, and I usually don't fuck with a lot of the music at those parties. And so like, then I think They Say came on, and I went, what the fuck? And after the part, I'm like, Adam, who was that one that had like the old fucking like Art LeBeau sounding shit? He's like, that was Kali, I'm telling you. And I'm like, oh fuck. But yeah, no, that is crazy. And the question that arises with me from that situation is kind of like, it seems like you're this one person scene out there in Alexandria. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people, like this kind of just stems from your brain, and there's not a lot of people around you doing this. And it almost seems like you might be living like this dual life where like, out here where all the industry is, it's like a lot of similar minds and creative forces, perhaps. Like, what's it like living in Alexandria now? Does it feel lonelier now?
It's hella lonely in Alexandria. When I'm in Alexandria, I literally just coop myself up in my room.
Yeah.
And just work on shit.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm literally just in my room drawing.
Who do you have out
writing.
there? Just
my cousin.
Yeah, that's it?
I'm just drawing, writing, and then I have 2 friends there. I'm drawing, I'm writing. Every once in a while, like my friend will come by or something.
Yeah.
When I go home now, I'm invited because I just get so fucking lonely. So I'm inviting my friends from New York. They're gonna come stay with me for a little bit. But
yeah.
I'm usually literally just in my house, because now if I go out, like everyone in town or everyone even in DC, like people start to recognize me now. And so I don't like people to know when I'm home, because like a lot of people from like school know where I live and like know like all my business. So I just don't like them. I just don't.
Oh, really? So it's like it's starting to get pretty cracking back home then.
Yeah, like if I'll go up the street to like I don't like to walk places. Like if I walk over to the store, I'm bound to like see at least 2 or 3 people, and they're all gonna say the same thing. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're in town? Oh, you're still here? I thought you live in Hollywood now. Oh, will you do a video for me? Will you do this, that, and the other?
Yeah,
you trying to get on a track with my cousin?" Like,
yeah, I feel you.
And it just becomes like the situation where it's just like,
yeah. Do you get to play shows out there? Do you play shows out there?
I played my first show out there. Ever since then, I haven't played a show out there.
Yeah. Having grown up in band and stuff, I would imagine like stage fright probably wasn't a thing. Like you're pretty comfortable already having.
No, my first show was terrible.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Well, that's what I worry about. How are you going to get your chops up? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, well, I mean like, 10,000 hours, 10 years to become a master or whatever. Like, if you're only getting flown out here ever so often to play some shows, when did you get to practice performing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I go to the gym and there's this really big mirror and it's all empty at night. Nobody else goes. And then I just practice in the mirror.
That's dope. I mean...
And it's just like, it's a big space. So when I'm singing, the sound fills up the whole space.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's cool. I mean...
You probably know absolutely jack shit about me, but I've been rap for a long time. I was fucking terrible at performing for like forever, because it took me a lot of shows to figure it out, because I'm not a natural talent like you, perhaps. So yeah, I just always worry when I hear that people aren't performing that much. I'm like, perform more. People want to see you play.
No, yeah, I want to start performing more.
Yeah,
I want to really, really get my set together though. You know, like start to have like a real budget so that I can have like 2 backup singers or like a band or like props. Like I want to really create like a visual direction for my set to where my show is really going to be able to take somebody somewhere when they see it, you know? Yeah,
that's dope. Yeah, I like that you're thinking big. That's good. I mean, so do you have plans to move out here?
Oh, I definitely want to move out here.
Yeah. Why LA over New York?
Palm trees.
Palm trees, yeah.
I love palm trees. I love mountains. It reminds me of back home.
Okay. Is your circle of trust growing bigger when you're out here? Like, do you have a lot of people out here now?
I have more friends out here than I have on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But my circle is hella small.
Really?
I don't have a lot of friends.
Do you do that on purpose?
I mean, the more friends... I mean, I fuck with friends. Like, friends are important, but I feel like not everybody is worth your time to the point where it's just like people are liabilities, and it's like better to not have everyone's energy like rubbing off on you all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Is it hard for you to trust people?
it's not even really a matter of trust, because it's not like to be my friend I'm like giving you my bank card or anything. It's just like,
oh, that's what it takes to be my friend. Like, you gotta give me your bank card. So
it's just like, yeah, like not everyone. I'm really like sensitive to other people's energies, so it's like if I'm putting myself around you, it's because I feel like you're a good person, or you're gonna bring something into my life where like you're gonna mentally stimulate me, or you're gonna like inspire me, or some sense of like you got to be bringing something to the table. I'm bringing something to the table. It's not like we can just all be friends. Like, yeah, we can all be like associates and friends to an extent, but you're not gonna be in my circle necessarily. Like, nah.
Right. How often do you write songs?
I write all the time.
Really?
Every day, yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you sitting on a ton of songs or what?
I'm definitely sitting on hella songs.
Yeah. Is it something where, I like how you said earlier that you like always are a finisher, right? And I can respect that, but to a certain extent, like when you're writing stuff, do you ever like get halfway through and go, this is kind of bullshit, I'm going to stop this song?
I've done it before, yeah.
Or do you just finish no matter what?
I've done it before, but then so I keep all those scraps, and then sometimes if I'm feeling like one was like really dope, I'll like run back and be like, oh well, these other lyrics are really dope, and I'll like put two sets of lyrics together, you know?
Yeah. And so do you write lyrics without any background music and then try to find music to fit it later?
Sometimes, yeah, like sometimes I'll get a song in my head that like hasn't happened yet, like so I'll hear the entire song in my head, I'll hear like how it's gonna go, everything, so I have to like record it, start writing it and everything, and then later try to get someone to like make something.
And when you say you hear like the lead lines, like the vocal melodies?
Mm-hmm. I can hear the instrumental, I can hear the instruments, like I hear the entire song.
Oh, okay.
So I start to have to, like, so I do acapellas, like where I have to do every part of the song, and then I'll send it to producers and see if someone can make something for me that is like that.
Are you like one of those synesthesia types where like music makes you see colors or see vivid things? Have you heard of this?
I'd never heard of that.
Yeah.
Music definitely makes me see things, though. Not necessarily colors, but it puts me in a zone to where I just start visualizing. It's like part of the reason I like to do music videos.
Yeah. Are you still working on music videos for other people?
No, I'm just working on them for myself right now. It's just, I don't like to put my eggs in too many baskets. I'm already like doing so much for myself. It's not really.
Has music gotten to a point with you yet where like you need other hobbies to relax? Like I know that a lot of people get into music because it seems like a catharsis for them. And then all of a sudden when people start to take notice, it becomes less of a catharsis and more of there's like some pressure on all of a sudden because people are expecting things from you. I
feel like it's really important to have other activities that are going to help you clear your mind.
And that's where I was going. Like, what other activities are you into?
When I feel like my mind is really cluttered, I usually like to go in my backyard. There's a bamboo forest and there's a hammock, and I like to lay in the hammock and just like stare at the trees upward. And then I like drawing, and I like bike riding, and I like yoga, and like stuff like that.
Oh, that's great. It's good that you have a lot of things to occupy your time. What do you draw?
I really like to draw faces, and then I like to draw like the skin is like the bark on trees, and I like to put patterns in it.
Yeah.
That's usually what I like to draw. And then sometimes I draw flowers. Like the Hawaiian flowers.
Yeah. Do you scan them? Do you put them online?
I used to. I haven't in a long time. I used to because I had them all together with like all my art. I was like a freelance artist, entrepreneur type. Mm-hmm. There's like a town not far from like my house called Old Town where it's like a lot of like rich white people that are like really into art and shit. So I used to like Craigslist job hunt, and so I would go and make art for them.
That's tight.
So I had to scan it to make portfolios and shit.
Nice. When you're in Alexandria, like before the shit starts really cracking off and you're just like a normal gal in high school doing what high schoolers do, like what is it that you guys would do to have fun and get in trouble? Like what's life like in Virginia?
Me and my friends would do the dumbest stuff. Oh my gosh. We would really do some dumb stuff to try to Well, okay, let me think. Like, how old? You're talking about high school?
I mean, sure. I think that I would imagine that probably wasn't that long ago for you. This is like, last week.
Typical stuff, like throw eggs at cars.
Oh, what an asshole.
Go steal from, like, every store down the street.
Yeah.
Like, go do graffiti, like, shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, were you guys boy crazy? Would you go out to parties and fucking get fucked up and try to make out with people?
I was never that girl.
Really?
Yeah, I was never that girl.
Yeah.
I think probably in, like, 9th grade, I had, like, a little bit of a glimpse of that life, but I had this one friend that was, like, super thoughty, and she just really, like, oh my god, she was just on it, like, and I used to go to some shit with her, and it just really turned me off from the scene, because I would see, like, how drunk she would get, and how stupid and, like, slutty she would make herself look, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not about this life. So I just turned that whole, like, aspect of life off. Like, I still don't. My dad owns a club, so, like, I've been in the clubs, but I'm not, like, in the clubs like that, you feel me? Like, I'm in the clubs, like, behind the bar type shit, like, trying to make money, you feel me? Like, I'm not out there, like, trying to waste my time.
Wait, so when did your dad go from teaching math to owning a club? Like, you didn't...
Well, like I told you, he's a landlord and an entrepreneur, so he has, like, businesses and stuff.
Yeah, so, like, did your folks stay together?
They're married, but they're not really, like, in a relationship.
I feel you. I can relate to that. So, like, is dad, like, out there getting it as a club owner? Like, what the fuck? That sounds tight.
My dad is, like, super pimp. Like, he's probably, like, the biggest player I ever met in my life.
I mean, shit. And then you guys are Colombian. I'm just, like, picturing young Scarface.
He's that guy that has, like, his chest hair all out and his shirt all buttoned low and his gold chains and his gold rings and super flashy.
Yeah. I know that guy. No, that's tight. So you were never into, like, drinking drugs, alcohol, nothing like that? Because I feel like, to the layman from the outside, I think someone would assume, like, oh, I look at this girl's style and listen to her music, and they're like, oh, she must fucking be...
I used to smoke, and when I was really, like, going through it, I used to drink a lot when I was going through it, but I got over that. And
when you were going through what, depression or what, or fucking just that phase?
Well, I was homeless at a time. And
what happened with that?
I was, like, living out my car. I was living out my Subaru Forester.
Why?
I just got myself in some stupid situations.
So the folks kicked you out or something?
Yeah, I was just, like, really bad at making decisions, and I was really irresponsible. So I kind of, like, messed things up for myself. So I was going through it, and...
Well, when you're living out of your Subaru, like, what's that? What's the process like? Like, where do you park so you feel safe?
Harris Teeter parking lot.
Where is that, in a mall or something?
Nah, that's, like... You guys don't have Harris Teeter out here?
No, I don't know.
Oh, that's a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour grocery store, but... So you don't get towed there, parking there. So I would park there.
And then what would you do to shower?
I would usually go to my friend's house.
Yeah.
I was, like, couch surfing for a while, but when I didn't want to, like, be that guy, I would just sleep in my car. But
and so were you still in school at that point?
That was right when I was graduating. Yeah. So I was in probably, like, 12th grade. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any aspirations for college when you got out of school, or was it just kind of like, I'm going to do this?
I never wanted to go to college. I didn't even bother with SATs or applying. I didn't apply anywhere. None of that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. You just already knew you had a fucking penchant for creativity, and
I
you're
knew
like, I'm going to learn
exactly what I wanted to do
on the job better.
I figured, like, I didn't want to wait for my life to start. I didn't, like, the idea of, I mean, don't get me wrong, education is everything, and I feel like it's hella important for everyone. But I felt like the type of person that I am, I couldn't learn in a classroom. It wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't learn anything in school. I learned by actually sitting by myself and reading books or hands-on doing things. Mm-hmm. Same way I taught myself how to do, like, videos and shit and how to work with software. I taught that by myself because I'm not a good listener when it comes to that type of shit. So
you learn about the things that you're passionate about.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, it's hard for someone to teach it to me. Like, when someone's trying to teach me something, I zone out. I start thinking of a million different things.
Absolutely. I always feel like the first couple of years of college, when people are kind of lost, it's because they haven't figured out their passions yet. And so you were lucky to, like, stumble upon yours at an early age.
That's the thing. Like, also, I saw a lot of people that were older than me that had been going to college, and they were just kind of, like, idle in their lives and didn't exactly even know what they wanted to do. And even when they got their degree, they were, like, not making anything and not really even, like, they still had some stupid job that had nothing to do with their degree. My siblings are all older than me, so, like, by a lot. Like, my oldest sister is, like, I think she's, like, 35 or something, so she got her degree in interior design, and she ended up being a nanny. So it's just like, I was just like, that shit is a waste of money. It's just kind of like more for people that they just wanted to do. Well, all the people around me that were doing it, they were just doing it because everyone else was doing it, and because it was just like the supposed route that you were supposed to take if you were like a smart individual.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, I've kind of felt like college is this thing where people go to learn about a thing, and then they end up like learning more about themselves and stumbling into a different thing that they didn't go to college for anyways. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah, so it just never clicked in my mind or made sense for me as an individual to wait for my life to start. I just felt like I can teach it to myself. I can make my own portfolio, and I can grow through that better than I could.
So did you ever have jobs, or was it always just kind of side hustles that you were putting together?
I did have hella jobs.
Yeah, what kind of jobs have you had?
Like stupid jobs.
When you were living in the Subaru, did you have a job?
I did. I worked at an ice cream shop.
Yeah,
It's like an ice cream yogurt shop.
So you had one giant forearm and one regular size forearm?
I actually was giving samples.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, stupid shit like that. But so I had a lot of jobs because I would like leave my jobs a lot. I would get bored of them, and I would just be like, whatever, I know I can get one of these stupid jobs again. It's not hard to get. So I would just like walk out and never talk to them again.
You were like, oh, fuck my resume.
Yeah. Probably the very last job that I had was at Wholefoods, and that was the longest job I ever had, and that was 7 months.
Nice. Oh, some fortitude there. How did you pull yourself up from the bootstraps and get out of the Subaru and get into like an apartment or something? Or like, did the folks invite you back home?
Well, my cousin, because my parents, they live back in Colombia now.
Oh, they moved back.
Yes. So my cousin.
How's that? I mean, do you miss them?
No.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
All right, I was like, the way you answer that makes me sound like I should not ask why. Like,
no, I'm just kidding. Of course I do.
Yeah.
But my cousin actually like ran into a lot of money, and she got herself a house.
Sick.
And she let me rent a room with her.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And that's your humble abode now, and that is your creative cave, or what?
That's my creative cave.
That's dope. Yeah. And so what made you quit Wholefoods?
Same reason I quit my other job, just like fed up of it.
Boredom.
And just figured like, man, like I can figure out ways to make money. Like I'm going to be okay. I'm going to figure it out, but this is not for me. Like it's just not for me. And it really wasn't for me. So it was like really making it more stressful to be creative, and it was like blocking my it was like blocking all the stimulation in my mind for that type of shit. Like I would just come home, be tired of shit, not want to do anything. I was not being able to write. I was not being able to like work on myself as a person. I was literally just like living check to check and like emotionally, mentally draining myself. I just was like, yeah, like I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out another way to make money, but I need to work on myself as a person at this point in my life. So I just quit.
How has Alexandria affected like your sound and your music? Because everyone's environment affects them. But it sounds like your music makes me feel better than it sounds like you feel about living in Alexandria. You know what I mean? I feel like like my environment, like I've never felt at home anywhere. I never felt at home really in Colombia. I never felt at home in Virginia. I still haven't found some place where I feel like it's home. So I find like fortress in my mind. Like I feel like my mind is home. And so that's my environment. Like my mind is my environment. So I like zone out and I go to different places in my mind. Wow. And that's what my music is. Yeah. It sounds sad. No, it's not at all. It's actually very happy. It sounds a little sad. It's actually very happy. Like your mental fortress that you disappear into is like the only person that understands it, your friend from second grade. No, she doesn't understand me at all. She doesn't? No. Yeah. I've known her forever, but we're literally like complete opposites. We're totally different. Yeah. She doesn't get me at all. No shit. Wow, the mental fortress. That sounds so sad. Have you ever gone to? It's not sad. It does. It sounds lonely. No, it's like going to your happy place. Okay. It's like I'm anywhere I want. Like it's like. Have you ever been like?
Well, I haven't in a long time. But I remember I used to get, like, excited to go to sleep because I could, like, close my eyes, imagine I was somewhere else, and just, like, be anywhere in the world I wanted.
You could lucid dream?
Yeah, and just do anything I wanted in my mind.
You know what? I fucking never dream, and I wish that I did.
Really?
I very rarely. Sometimes I remember dreams when I wake up, but I very rarely, like, remember my dreams, and it
That's
sucks.
sad, yeah.
Right?
You should try harder. I'm sure you can.
All right, that's my goal for the night, is to go home and remember a dream.
No, my dreams are hella vivid. They're so vivid.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you lock yourself out from the world to feel better.
Okay,
no. Well, no. Let me explain where I was going with that, because I'm not trying to make you sound sadder than you are, or paint a fucking bad picture. But what I was gonna say, I'm trying to relate and compare it to, like, what I can understand. Like, when I lock myself in my room and fucking disappear into my mental cave, it's because I'm, like, very, like, depressed and sad and pissed about shit. But it sounds like you do that because that's when you're happy.
I mean, I'm happy in real life too.
Yeah.
But, you know, your imagination is just better sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I quite like your imagination, and I'm looking very much forward to seeing what comes from it in the future. How much longer are the people going to wait for something new? Do you guys have anything is it kind of like now that the world has gotten the first taste, they're going to have to wait patiently while the rest of it is figured out, or what?
People have definitely waited long enough.
Yeah.
A new video is coming, like, towards the end of spring, so very soon. And then the project is coming this summer.
Dope. I really look forward to it, and I'm glad that we were able to do this before we started. I was telling you I was very much looking forward to seeing you perform again, but unfortunately the party got shut down, and that really sucked. But yeah, I'm glad that we had time to do this before you fly back out. And I'm also glad that, like I said in an email, I sent a very heartfelt email because I tried to hit you guys up before, and I was like, look, I really love your music, and, like, I've had this happen before where I've tried to get an artist on the show, and it was, like, right before they blew up, and it was too late. And I really do have a feeling in my gut that, like, that's about to happen with you too, and so I'm very stoked that you came on, and I appreciate your time and coming in. Tell the people where they can find you online. Oh, and tell me how to fucking pronounce the last part of your name properly, because I was saying Kali Uchis. Is that correct?
Kali Uchis.
Oh, Uchis.
Kali Uchis.
Okay, cool. I said it wrong in the intro that we already recorded, but
it's cool. It's better than when people say Kali Uchis.
Oh yeah, no, I said Kali Uchis. But
it's the same. Kali Uchis. It's however you want to say it, really. But it's
all
Kali
right, cool.
Uchis.
Okay, cool. Where does that come from?
It's actually what my dad used to call me when I was little.
Oh, okay. Does it have any particular meaning?
Uchis is, like, something that people, like, have you ever heard Latino people say, like,
I just heard, like, mad people say, like, fuck you, eh? No, I'm just kidding.
No, like, okay, like, for instance, if your name is Ben, and then someone's like Benito.
Oh yeah.
Like put in like Ito or Ita at the end of something to make it cute or whatever.
Yeah.
So my dad would always call me Carluchis to try to put it at the end of my name to make it cute. So
very cute.
Yeah, it's just something that it was just like kind of like a pet name. So
yeah, for sure.
I felt like my name as an artist should be something that was close to my heart.
That's dope. It fits. Where can they find you online?
KaliUchis.com. KaliUchis.com.
What's your YouTube channel? Because you got a lot of great videos up.
I think it's Kali Uchis.
YouTube.com/Kali Uchis. Kali Uchis. I'm just trying to say it with an accent. Yeah, so go look for this lady. You guys are going to be hearing big things about her very soon. In the meantime, make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at It's Intuition. Follow my man Ben behind the boards, making the shit sound buttery. Follow us as a unit at That's Kinda Neat. Everything wrapped up in a pretty package on kindaneat.net, youtube.com/That's Kinda Neat, where we're going to see Kali Uchis perform a cover of Smokey Robinson. And subscribe to the podcast, rate it, review it, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry that you have to sit here awkwardly and listen to all this. It gets so boring, I know. Anyhow, her name is Kali, my name is Lee, and this was Kinda Neat.